Well, howdy there, Internet students. This is Mr. Hermanson again. Today we're going to learn how to factor trinomials. Basically, it's the reverse of what we did in yesterday's lesson. So we're going to take a trinomial written in this form, which is what you get when you multiply two binomials. And we're going to figure out what two binomials multiplied equals that. So how did I know that those two multiplied would equal that? So that's the objective for today. Go ahead and do this review real quick. Make sure you understand the distributive property. You can check back, see if you got the right answer. Go ahead and do this vocab part. All right, so let's start the lesson. So today we're gonna try and figure out what two binomials multiplied together equal that. To do that, we're gonna use the table or area diagram, and we're gonna work backwards when we use that. We know that the x squared will go in this part, and the 20 will go here. And then if you recall from yesterday, if we add these two parts together, they'll equal this middle term. Okay, so now we know that x times x is x squared. Now for this spot right here, and this spot right here, we know that those two numbers multiplied equal 20. So we're going to try and think of two numbers that multiplied together equal 20. And when we add this term right here and this term right here, it will equal 9x. All right. So start thinking about that. What two numbers have a product of 20 multiplied together equal 20 and have a sum of 9? That's basically what we have to be thinking about. And those two numbers are 4 and 5, and they're positives because this square would now be 4x. This square right here would be 5x. And added together, they equal 9x. So the factored form expression is x plus 4 times quantity x plus 5. Now, I want you to notice one other thing that might be helpful in this. Notice that when I multiply these two, I multiply those two, I get the same exact thing. They're both equal to 20x squared. All right, so let's try another one here. I'll let you try it. So set up your diagram like this. Put your r squared there, put your 24 there. Think of two numbers. So these are going to both be r because r times r is r squared. So you're going to need a number here and a number here that multiplied together equal 24, and we'll give you this 11. Give it a shot. Your work should look something like that. Okay, now what difference does it make if there's a negative in it? Let's see. So I'll make my diagram again. I'm going to put my x squared there. So I know I'm going to have an x and an x to get that x squared. I'm going to have 8 here. Now I need this number here times this number here to equal 8, positive 8. But now I need them to add up to negative 6. So think of numbers multiplied together that equal 8, and you're probably thinking of 2 and 4. Problem is that if it was positive 2 and positive 4, then you would have a positive 2x and a positive 4x, which would not equal negative 6. But if it was a negative 2 and a negative 4, then you would have a negative 2x and a negative 4x, which adds up to negative 6x. So in factored form, we have x minus 2 times a quantity x minus 4. All right, so here's another one like that. fact, it's exactly the same. So I'm going to change that, cross that out. I'll make one up quick for you to factor. So let's do this. Make that a 9y, not a 9x. Okay. All right, you guys try that one. Well, there you are. Hopefully that went well for you. All right, what if there's two negative signs? So let's just get started on our diagram. Make our diagram. And now this is going to be a negative 18 there. We're going to have an x squared there. So this is going to be an x and an x. And so now, now we need these two to add up to negative 3. And we need the numbers multiplied together to equal negative 18, which means we need one positive and one negative this time. So, so you might start thinking about what are the factors of negative 18, like 9 and 2. Now, if one of those is a negative, will it add up to negative 3? I don't think so. So 3 and 6 is another set of factors of 18. If one of those is negative, will it add up to negative 3? And it will, as long as the 6 is the negative. So I'm going to put a negative 6 here and a positive 3 there. That'll give me 3x and negative 6x. And when I add those together, I get my negative 3. So in factored form, we have x minus 6 and x plus 3. All right. How about you try one of those? Well, that's what I got. Hope you did too. All right. So let's apply this to something. It says the area of a picture frame is given by the trinomial x squared plus 6x minus 16. We might as well just put it right in our area chart here. The x squared and the minus 16. Now we're actually given another clue. One of the dimensions, or the length of the frame, is x plus 8. So let's say this is the x plus 8 right here. And what would the other one be? Well, we know this would be 8x, right? Because this would be x. And then we have to think of, well, what number times 8 is equal to negative 16, and that would be negative 2. So the width is the expression x minus 2. All right. Why don't you try that? Well, here's what I'm thinking. All right. What if there are two variables involved in the trinomial? So that's why making this diagram is so nice. It really doesn't matter. So this is going to be negative 6y squared. And our goal is still the same. We need two numbers multiplied together that give us negative 6y squared, which just means there's going to be a y in them. And then when we add them together, remember that the coefficient here is negative 1 actually. So we want to think of numbers that multiplied together equals 6. And I can only think of two different sets of integers. And we need one of them to be a negative in order to get a negative here. So basically we need two numbers that are 1 apart, which would be the 2 and the 3. And we would need the 3 negative to get a negative 1. If the 2 is negative, then it would be positive 1. So we're going to use 2 and negative 3, and that'll give us negative 3x. Actually, we need the y, right? Because we have y squared, and that's the only difference about having that y in there. Okay, so that'll give us negative 3xy here and 2xy there. So in factored form, we have x minus 3y and x plus 2y. All right, give that a shot. There's the answer. And I think you guys are ready for some practice. So go ahead and do that, and we'll talk to you soon.